Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.
Hello, everyone out there in Lemonade Land. How are you? It's great to see everyone, or at least be hearing you. And I'm excited to have you as another part of our Lemonade Stand Book 2 series with another amazing author, Dr. Wendy Labat. And she's someone I've known for quite a while, so I'm really excited that she's on board with this project with me. So welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on. I'm so excited about being your guest today and being an author in the Lemonade Stand Book 2.
Well, we've got a lot of things that are going on now that even more so than book 1. And like I say, you've been a part of a couple of projects of mine. So I feel like you must trust me.
I do.
Which is always a great thing. So yeah, so I was delighted when you wanted to join up and share your story, which is really kind of a twofold story, which I never disclose too much because we always want people to buy the book and not hear the whole story behind what's going on while we're on the podcast. But yours essentially is about a journey through breast cancer, but at the same time, how fortunate you were to have been well set up financially from an insurance standpoint. And that was really what I was going to kind of move the conversation to, because I think so oftentimes people feel like they have their insurance. I have my work insurance, I have this or that, and I'm fine. And I know you were fully insured in many areas because you walk the walk and talk the talk, and that's your business.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask them, what are you telling people who feel like they're well insured and all the, let's say, items that are not covered, or the unexpected, or the things that add up that you don't consider when you're out with an illness?
Well, what I find is that people put material things above their health when it comes to insurance. They'll do their car, their house, their phones, their businesses. And I don't know if they think they're invincible and really what I'm finding that a lot of people, especially folks that are healthy and are in a position to get insurance, they're the ones that think they don't need it because they're healthy. And that's, really the wrong way, the wrong mindset to have, because when you're healthy is the time to get it. When you lose your health, you want it, but you can't get it. So I had mine not because it was a personal financial strategy. It was because I was in the business and didn't want to be a hypocrite. And I just thank the Lord for that, because had I not been in the business, to be honest with you, I don't think I would have had all that extra coverage. I would have had health insurance, and I would have had, some kind of life insurance, but I wouldn't have had the living benefits, the cancer coverage, and all the stuff that really, brought me into significant income. And when I was writing my chapter in the book, Corrine, our editor, said, I was telling her about my $67,000 a month every 3 week for a year chemo bills. And she said, calculate that out. And I did, and it was like $1.137 million. And even till this day, I'm like, that really took me aback because I'm like, I still am not over that, even though I didn't have to pay it, just the thought if I would have had to pay it.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
it still just makes me shudder just to think about it. So many people just underestimate the cost of an illness. I had the breast cancer, but what about folks that have strokes or heart attacks? They have similar medical bills. And then not just that, if you have a stroke and you become, physically disabled,
Right.
that's another set of income that, or expenses that you'll incur, by refitting your house, getting someone to help you. So there are things that people take for granted when it comes to their health.
Well, for sure. And the things that I think too are they simply don't think about. For instance, you would have gone well over a lifetime maximum, I'm sure, if you didn't have the extra coverage. Your average coverage might be $1 million, or maybe not lifetime, but certainly probably within that year's time. But the other thing is your loss of income.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not working, that paycheck isn't coming in either.
Well, fortunately, my business was kind of self-sufficient and I had good people. So I didn't have to be there for it to continue to run and for that income to continue in. But and now, like I said, with the Affordable Care Act laws, there is no maximum lifetime benefit. So that's a plus. And a lot of people kind of like, I don't like that Obamacare or whatever, but they don't realize the benefits that are in that bill or that law. So that, that's not applicable. The, pre-existing illnesses aren't applicable now. And a lot of people still don't have health insurance, even though they are entitled to it and they can get it. They still don't take the time to enroll during the open enrollment. So that's what that's my crusade, try to get as many people enrolled, try to inform as many people of the benefits of having coverage and to tell my story because I'm a living example. I never thought I'd get breast cancer. It doesn't run in my family, but just the fact that I got it could have ruined me financially. So I try to make sure that people are aware and people give it, some thought. Now we're in a pandemic and a lot of those, issue people are dying. People are, if they aren't dying, they're still having those symptoms beyond their recovery. So you have to be in a position to protect yourself, not just for, the physical protection, but your, financial protection.
And it gets pretty complex, which is thank goodness for people like you who can walk us through it and help us understand because my 30, I should know her age, 31-year-old daughter. I don't know, those years go by so fast. My 31-year-old daughter was changing her insurance and so I try to help her and it really is a struggle to really compare the apples to apples things and, where do I compromise? Do I compromise on a monthly, premium? Do I compromise on a little bit more out of pocket or deductible? And so it is pretty confusing. But I know that one of the things that you've done to help folks out there is that you have your new book out.
Yes.
The Financial Cure. So do you walk them through the insurance details as well?
Well, in this particular book, I don't get into the details, but when I talk to my clients or potential clients to enroll them in healthcare, especially, I explain, the importance because people don't understand there's a cost to having health insurance and there's a cost to using it. I mean, you can have health insurance and it could be cheap, monthly, low monthly premium. But if you got a high deductible, a $10,000 deductible, you're basically self-insured until you reach that $10,000 threshold. So I explained to them, do you want to, pay a few dollars more a month? Or do you want to save a few pennies a month and pay, an astronomical deductible. And I give them the numbers, the reality. When you look at it and you understand how those numbers come into play, they usually choose to pay a little more to get the better coverage, get the low. The main thing you want to look at when you're selecting a health insurance plan is the deductible first, because that's when the insurance is going to kick in. Then you want to look at, your maximum out of pocket, because there is a maximum that once you hit that maximum, you can have brain surgery and the only thing you'll pay is your premium.
Right.
And then you want to look at your co-pays, and you want to set co-pay. You don't want a percentage of anything when it comes to your primary care physician or your specialist. You don't want $10 co-pay and then a 35% percentage co-pay for your specialist. You want to set numbers. So when you go in that doctor's office, you know what your co-pay is going to be. And that co-pay chips away. If you have a deductible, it chips away at your deductible and your maximum out of pocket. So the priority is deductible, maximum out of pocket, co-pays. Then you look at the premium. The premium is really the least important factor, even though you have to pay it every month. But hey, you can sweat it out. The things that you spend money on that you don't have to, like the Starbucks coffee every day, that can pay your premium or pay the difference in the premium with the lower deductible. So you have to get the mindset right. You've got to understand, like I said, the priorities in evaluating what the plan offers. And you need to know that I got some folks, a lot of the plans are HMOs, and they're like, I don't want an HMO. I don't want to switch my doctor. But my thing, the doctor chooses who they want to accept. They go through the process to get approved with these different companies. And my thing is, if your doctor's not willing to get on the plan that you have, you need to switch to a doctor that's on that plan, because I've had that story with a lot of the clients say, I don't want to switch doctors. Like, okay, don't switch. But if you go with a plan or a doctor and pay the out-of-network cost, this is what it's going to cost you. And then next thing I know, they're getting a call, well, let me find a new doctor. So your doctor has to be just as committed to you as you are to them.
Right. Yeah. Well, my rule of thumb is just stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But like I said, with this pandemic, you can try, but there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can say that and I can chuckle about that. But fortunately, I have been very healthy all of my life. So it is kind of hard to put the mindset, to spending a lot of money on insurance or whatnot. However, I'm of a certain age.
Hey,
It's
me too. But like I said, and it's unfortunate because the older we get, and I do Medicare, I enroll seniors in Medicare, and it seems like, they're the ones, people that are on the Affordable Care Act plans are younger and not necessarily healthier, but they have better coverage. Medicare is regulated, and there are a lot of things about Medicare that they don't tell people when they get Medicare, when they age in. They don't tell you that there are lifetime penalties if you don't have prescription drug coverage. Even if you never take a prescription in your life, you still have to have the coverage. They don't tell you that you pay for your Part B premium regardless. And if you decide you don't want to pay it and don't get it, there's a penalty for that. So there are all kind of penalties factored in that, people aren't aware of, because again, they're looking at the dollars. And sometimes you just have to pay a little bit, especially when it comes to your health. And the older you get, the more likely you are to have to, use your health insurance. So,
Exactly.
It's getting better. It's getting better, but
I think that because there's so much talk about it, there's been so much and we're not going to get into the political aspect of it, but again, I think there's just so much awareness out there. I think we took it for granted at a period of time when so many people had, real jobs.
mm-hmm.
We didn't have nearly as many entrepreneurs out there trying to do it on their own, and so it was just it was just a given that you were going to get a job and that job was going to have benefits and that's what you got and that's what you were happy with. And now we have choices to make. And what you say about priority really is true, because do I get my nails done, or do I, that cup of coffee, but we're spoiled and we want our thing. But if you don't have your health, what do you have?
Yeah.
Probably not. You don't care.
Not nearly as much as you think. And I can testify to that, because your health is really your wealth, because I don't care how much money you have. If you don't have your health, what good is it? But I posted something today on Facebook talking about your mindset is the biggest asset you have. And after I thought about it, is it your mindset or your health? But after going through breast cancer, it is your mindset, because you have to have a positive mindset to get through any obstacle, whether it's your health or finances or whatever. And, everyone I spoke with that had been a breast cancer conqueror, the first thing they would tell me is stay positive. No matter who it was, they were in different circles, different financial levels. They all said, what got me through it was being positive. So, and I was positive, and that did get me through it. And like I said, you never know what you've been through till you're on the other side. And now that I'm on the other side, I start thinking about it, and it seems like it's bothering me more now than it was when I went through it, thinking about the financial situation, the beating my body took, and just thanking the Lord that He brought me through, and I'm on the other side, with a new business and, a crusade to help others. And it's just awesome, and you don't realize, the battle that you fought until you won the battle. So I don't know. I'm just thankful every day.
And I know you are, because we're Facebook friends. So I see you post every day, and they are very positive, and they are very much about mindset. And I remember in the chapter 2, one thing that struck me was that due to your faith, but also I think it was just because it's who you are and who your mindset is, you almost didn't worry about it. I mean, it seems like I remember, reading where it wasn't that you weren't worried, but you didn't waste your energy and time worrying about it.
Yeah, I got a sense of peace. When I read that diagnosis, a sense of peace came over me, which let me know that I didn't have to worry. But what I was furious with that doctor that wouldn't even give me the time of day to tell me what my results were. I didn't hear from her office until the next year, and they had the nerve to ask me to schedule my annual physical. It's like, take my name out of your network, and I know she had to read the results. I mean, if she's any kind of doctor, you're going to see the results of your patients. She saw that I had breast cancer. Her office people saw, because they're the ones that put the results together to give it to me in that sealed envelope. So I was furious at first, but it's like, Lord, I'm not wasting my energy on that. But where do I go from here? Because I knew I couldn't go back in there to see, get any kind of referral. Right. So He led me to call my friend who was a breast cancer conqueror. And that was the best move, that even though her doctor couldn't help me, they directed me to the Winship Cancer Institute that could, and they were on it. They didn't waste any time. They called me back in minutes, giving me that information. I called the Cancer Institute in minutes. I had an appointment within 3 days. So that's what I needed, was somebody that was going to take the ball and run with it. I could have sat there and boo-hooed and been upset and, poor me, but that's not the person I am. And then the Spirit said, no, this is, I'm leading you. So I just followed. I was being obedient, and that's what was important. It wasn't anything that I needed to worry about, because, I got that sense of peace that said, okay, you're going to be okay, but it's not going to be easy. And that was fine. So I just knew I had to do what I had to do.
So do you think that it just, by accepting that it wasn't going to be easy, was a part of it as well?
Well, yes, and I'm a person of strong faith. I'm a mature woman now, so I've been through a few things. It's not that I've been this way all along, but after 63 years, you learn a few things after going through a few battles. But I don't. I look at the positive in everything. So no matter what happens, it could be a look negative, but there's always a positive, and that's what I look for in every situation.
Well, that's why you're a lemonade lady.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that you stepped forward to share their story. I don't know why health should be a difficult story to share, because it's not like someone goes out and causes themselves to have cancer or a stroke or whatever. But so often it's still kind of a taboo thing, and people don't really open up about their cancer experience and whatnot. And I just believe that there's so many people who are getting diagnosed of cancer and other diseases, that if we don't hear about the positive outcomes and the mindsets that go with it, that I mean, they're missing something by not getting that. So what made you decide to share that?
Well, to be honest, I didn't share it initially. There were a select few, like my family, and, I had a prayer group, and a lot of them were cancer conquerors. So I didn't broadcast. My church family didn't know. My pastor knew, but I didn't talk about it. I was out of church for a while, and, my husband would go to church. They said, well, where's Wendy? He said, well, she's dealing with something. But I didn't put it out there at first because, for one, I didn't want the pity parties. It's not that I was afraid that people would know. I just didn't want that attitude of that vibe flowing in me at the time. I needed only positivity. And the people that knew were my prayer warrior group and my family. And then even with my family, they waited to see how I reacted before they reacted. And I had to let them know, look, I'm going to be all right. And I'm going to go through some stuff, but I'm going to be here for weddings and babies and graduations and all that stuff. So don't, I'm not going to die right away. Everybody's going to die, but this ain't going to take me out. And, and once I told them that, they were okay with it, and nobody said, oh, my mom has cancer. Everybody kind of kept it within the circle because that's what I needed. I didn't need all that pity party, poor you got cancer, that kind of stuff. So I didn't really talk about it until I conquered it. That's when I started talking about it, because that's what the Spirit told me it was time for me to do it. Prior to that, I knew I didn't want to put it out there. I'm a private person anyway, but when I was diagnosed and was going through, the chemo, my husband was there every step of the way. My family was supported, my sister, everybody was there for me when I needed them. But they gave me the space I needed because they know I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to do nothing. I'm not going to do anything. So, they gave me what I needed. And, once everything was over, that's when I talked about it. I didn't get into all that. That's when I started telling people that I, conquered breast cancer, because prior to that, I really didn't want the pity party. That was the main reason. So and I understand why people don't talk about it, but I didn't, I talked about it enough to release it and not let it eat me up inside. But it was only to a select few of people. It wasn't everybody. Everybody didn't know my situation.
Have you, did you find yourself changing anything, lifestyle habits, thought processes? Did anything?
Kind of, sort of, because, I got to where I lost all this weight. I was like a skeleton with a layer of skin, lost all my hair, all my, hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, even my finger and toenails. I had none, not just short, but I had nothing. There was nothing on the nail bed or anything. So I just tried to strengthen my body. I changed my food intake. I started taking, supplements, vitamins, that kind of stuff. And I'm diabetic, so I do have other issues, but, that really the poison that went in my body had such an effect on it that I had to make some changes. I had to, kind of build and boost my immune system again to get it back, to try to gain the weight. Now I kind of gained a little too much weight, but, it was just a matter of getting, my body back to have the strength where I could, do things. But I still, I still have a way to go. I'm probably at about 95%, but I still can tell the difference in some areas that, especially with my brain. I had that chemo brain. And when I was going through it, I was working on my doctorate degree. I was about to do my oral defense. But fortunately, one of my committee members, she was a breast cancer conqueror. So she understood what I was going through. So I made it through okay. I got my degree, I went to the graduation, and you don't know how good I felt walking across that stage. But, I made some changes, more so in my, I guess, gratitude. I've always been a grateful person, but, I don't let the small stuff sweat me, even though I've never really did, but I don't even let negativity come into my circle. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it, and I'm not going to tolerate it. So I guess in that respect, I've really kind of clamped down, but overall, I'm still the same me, just older and wiser.
Well, you certainly have snapped back to a great degree because you're a beautiful lady. And, I can't imagine going through, I mean, we shouldn't be that worried about physical beauty, but I can't imagine having no hair, having no fingernails and eyelashes. And that just, it kind of blows my mind. But it's a physical body that comes back, that's resilient. And
well, I've got hair now. I've got nails now. They may not be mine, but they're mine, but they may not be real, but that's okay. I still don't, the lashes and brows, I'm still, as long as they got makeup, wigs, and nail salons, I'm good.
well, and that's the thing, is that we can make that choice to say, I'm not going to sit around and be on a pity party because I don't have hair. Let's go find a beautiful wig out there. And we can make those choices, and thank goodness that we can. But you are so upbeat, and I do appreciate that every time we have a conversation, it is on a positive note. And right now, that's hard to do. We have a lot of negative going around between COVID and politics, which we are not going there and talking about.
No, that's
just
right.
The fact that you can maintain that positive attitude is, I commend you for that, because it's not easy when you have so much negativity whirling around you.
Well, it's a conscious effort. It's not that I guess I've been practicing positivity so long that, it's sort of just the way I am, but, I can get negative every now and then if I have to, but I try to keep it on a positive note. If it gets negative, I try to turn it into a positive. But, I was telling some friends of mine, I'm not a bitch, but I can be one if I have to. If you push that button, I can go there. But, at this stage of my life, it's like, I'm not going to, make my blood pressure go up because somebody's tripping. I'm just going to, like I said, try to turn it into a positive. And if they, if I find that I can't with them, then I remove them from the environment. I'm not going to let them stay in my circle and pollute my, my positivity. So
I think in general,
it's a conscious effort.
Yeah. I'm just a real believer in general that if we stay in a positive mindset, we stay more physically healthy. I know if I'm trying to lose weight, I can't lose weight when I'm depressed. But when I'm happy, when life feels pretty good, then I can, and I do lose weight. So that's it's a small example, but it still, I notice it. I very much notice that my mindset affects how my body is feeling, my physical body. And I just wish more people could bring that out, you know, to help them. I mean, my husband is a retired doctor, and so we don't talk name, of course, because of HIPAA. But you know, we have conversations about people and kind of look and examine at that, you know, attitude versus their health. And as you said, you're diabetic. That's a perfect example because so oftentimes uh, uh, he had diabetic patients that their mindset was just so poor me. So why me? Why do I have to, you know, and it really, and it affected their outcome very much versus those who were very active about their care and ensuring that they were doing everything they could to be the healthiest diabetic they could. So I have a feeling you're going to live until you're 150.
That's what I'm planning on. That's my plan. And, you know, God willing, I will. And if he takes me before then I'm okay. You know, I've lived a good life. I have no regrets. And, you know, I just want to do his will. And when he calls me home, I'll be ready to go. I just want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and impacting the people I'm supposed to impact and just, you know, being obedient to where the Spirit is leading me. So I'm excited about that.
And if you do live to 150, you want to make sure that you have enough money in your bank account to get you that far.
Yeah. And good health that I'm, you know, because matter of fact, a friend of ours, mom just passed and she was 103. And then my husband's aunt passed last year. She was 102. And they had their minds, you know, they were spry. They were up and around. You know, my husband's aunt, she got her nails done, hair done. And same with my husband's friend, you know, they were dynamic women. You know, age wasn't a deterrent for them. And that's how I want to be. You know, I want to be able to be up and around, traveling, doing, you know, getting my hair done, nails done, or buying a new wig or whatever it is. And just, you know, have my right mind, you know, and I pray that every morning. And matter of fact, I started praying that specifically once I heard Les Brown say, Lord, you know, thank you for waking me up in my right mind this morning, because I know what it's like to not be able to remember what you're going to say or what you just said. You know, I know what that chemo brain had done to me, which is probably a taste of what Alzheimer and all those other dementia, memory loss type diseases. So I don't want to be where I don't, you know, can't think right, you know, because that's one of my greatest strengths is my thinking and my writing. So I don't want to lose either of those.
Well, you're staying strong with both, and I do appreciate you very much being a part of the Lemonade Stand team, and excited that you will be out in Arizona so we can have our lunch party. We're going to have some fun with doing some filming for the TV show, and we've just got a lot of really great things that are on board, and just excited that we will be able to see you and have you be a part of all that.
I'm excited too.
Yeah. So look for February, even though I know a date. I never say it because you never know when something's going to happen that's going to mess up that date, and then you put it out there. So
I got it on my calendar. I won't buy my ticket and everything like I did this time, but you know, I'm still going to be there. So God willing, I'm going to be in Arizona, whatever date it is. I'm excited about the launch party, the filming, and everything. The book. Well, I'm excited about it all.
And the women are just it's such a great group of women, and fortunately you do know some of them, not all of them, but it's just a super wonderful group, and so we will be bonded for life, because I found that with my book one authors that we said we were like stuck like glue.
Yeah.
The bond is that strong. So I'm excited about that. And I don't know if anybody tells you this, but thank you for what you share every day. I know social media has a lot of negative things said about it, you know, right now. But I do read your posts. I do see them. I do read them. I do take them to heart, and I just wanted to say I appreciate them.
Well, good. I appreciate you telling me that because I want to be positive. When I see something that's helping me, I know it'll help others, and I do get positive feedback. And I've had a couple folks, kind of. I had one group I left because the admin said no more inspirational posts. It's like, what? So I was like, okay, no more. I got out of that group because I don't care what the topic is, you always need inspiration. You always need positivity. And I try to be generic enough where no matter what the subject or topic is, it's applicable because, positivity is positivity, whether it's about money, weight loss, whatever. But I had to leave that group because my thing is I'm not going to stick around with that. If somebody's got the control over whether my posts are being shown, I go where somebody appreciates them and somebody will post them and not just block them every time. So, but overall, I get good responses and I don't really get too much negative responses. I have a few folks that want to go there, but I don't respond to their response because, like I said, that's their thoughts. And, what I post, if it's not changing your mind, then I can't change your mind and I'm not going to try to.
Yeah, no, it's their mind to change. But the thing is, you just never know when you're going to say something that hits someone and in that way they needed at that moment. And so I say keep it up. And I look so forward to seeing you. And we got to wrap it up. Time goes fast when you're having fun. But anyway, we'll be having more things going on where you can get to know Wendy a little bit better. We have the Lemonade Legend magazine coming out in a couple of weeks, in which Wendy will be featured in there as well. And so we have a lot of opportunity to get to know all the authors much better. So thank you, everyone out there, for listening and tuning into Lemonade Legend podcast. I appreciate all of you very much, and keep on listening, and we'll keep on telling the lemonade story. So thank you so much to everyone, and have a great day.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.